Hi, my name is Roger. I am a researcher and one of the characters in the game. Welcome to our world, the world where the time machine Genesis exists. And these are my friends who were with me as we traveled back in time.
Greetings, my name is Marie. I'm an archaeologist. I assume that you already know how our game came into existence by reading our story.
Hello there, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Ella, and I'm ready to assist you in learning how to play Genesis.
Hi, I'm Lynn, an adventurer, and I will teach you how to survive the harsh environment in the board game.
Now, what are we waiting for? Let's get started.
Before we go further on how to play the game, let us first introduce the parts of our board game. First, we have the board itself. It's a 21 by 21 inches and can be opened and closed. Once opened, you will see the other part of the board game as well as the two-dimensional obstacles.
The board is divided into 10 rows and 10 columns and contains of hundreds of tiles. The rows also have different backgrounds which represent different eons as you move further into the game.
The next part of our board is our cards. There are mainly two types of cards, the draw cards and the question cards. The draw cards are drawn in order for the player to move around inside the board. The question cards are drawn only once the player lands on an obstacle. By answering the question correctly, the player is granted protection from that particular obstacle.
And lastly, we have our game pieces. The game can be played by up to 5 players. And if you read our story, you would know the 5 humans who took part of the game, which are our game pieces. We have Roger, the researcher, Lynn, the adventurer, Ella, the rich woman, Marie, the archaeologist, and me, the one who came late, Junior, a social media influencer.
Before we start playing the game, players will have to decide in what order they will draw, from first to last. In our case, we will get the number cards from 1 up to the last number of players. Since there are 5 of us, I'll get the numbers 1 to 5. And we will randomly draw cards. And the number that we get will be our order. Once settled, the game will officially begin with the first player drawing the first card.
Players will draw cards and move depending on the number that they get. Genesis also has special cards such as the Aegis card and the Aeon cards. When a player draws an Aegis card, he or she will have to draw another card in order to move. Aegis cards will protect you when you face an obstacle and can be kept for a while until you face an obstacle. When used, the player will then put the card back on the deck. The Aeon cards can be considered bittersweet, for they can either help you move further into the game in the blink of an eye, or they can also drag you down to the very beginning of the board.
As hard as it may seem, Genesis is actually generous when it comes to giving protection to the players. When a player ends up on a tile with a shield on it, the player will be granted temporary protection on the next round when they end up on an obstacle. The shield will also disappear even if the player ends up on an empty tile. Apart from that, if a player ends up on an obstacle without a protection shield or an Aegis card, they will still have the chance to draw a question card, and if they answer it correctly, they will be safe from that particular obstacle. Each obstacle will also have its own corresponding color of question cards. -1 and -2 are colored blue, -3 are colored yellow, and -4 and -5 are colored red. Each color represents easy, average, and difficult questions.
The game will continue until there is only one player remaining on the board, and if all the cards have been drawn while the game is still ongoing, then the players will have to reshuffle the cards, excluding the Aeon special cards, for these cards are too powerful, and proceed again with the game.
And that's it! Genesis is actually not that difficult, and the rules are made simple. because the creators hope that the players will also learn about the geological timescale as they go deeper into the game.
We hope that you enjoyed the game and had fun just like we did.
We will now leave you guys so that you'll have your own time to play the game.
Bye, guys!